When a streetcar is stopped to take on or discharge passengers where there is no safety zone, what does the law require drivers to do before passing the streetcar? The correct answer is stop at least 2 meters behind the rear doors where passengers are getting on or off. Now let's see why the others are not correct. This one says stop behind the rear of the streetcar, then proceed with caution. The stopping part is good, but proceeding with caution while the passengers are still getting on or off is not a good idea. What if there's a child or a kid that starts running in front of the oncoming vehicles? So for that reason, this option is out. The next one is sound horn and pass with caution. Well, again, sounding horn is not good. Sometimes it's rude. And again, passing with caution, what if there are kids running? So for that reason, this is also out. This one says pass on the left side when the way is clear. Well, if you didn't know, then let me tell you this. Streetcars drive in the leftmost lane. And if you try to go from the left of the streetcar, that means you're going towards the oncoming traffic. And that is very dangerous. For that reason, this option is also out. Now, let me explain why this option is correct. Did you know that by law, drivers must stop the entire time the doors of a streetcar are open? Yes, there's a reason behind it. Sometimes some passengers are slow in disembarking, that is, getting off the bus. So that's why the drivers keep the doors open so that they can get off the bus. So you may not actually see a passenger coming out, but they might still be on their way to get off the bus. Therefore, stopping until the doors are closed is a good idea. And stopping 2 meters behind the bus is also good because, one, it gives enough room to the passengers in case of an emergency, and two, it makes them less nervous. When there are no posted speed limits, the maximum speed in cities, towns, and villages is... The correct answer is 50 kilometers per hour. Now, it's hard for me to tell you how to remember this, but I'm going to try. Hey, you see the 40 sign a lot on side streets, and you also see the 60 sign on main roads, like, where there are 2 lanes. This is what my observation has been. Like, mostly 2-lane roads would have 60 speed or above. Now, the 30 speed is something I've seen very rarely. Now comes the 50 sign. 50 sign is something that you don't see a lot, but yes, you would see them on some roads. So that is how you can remember that, hey, it's not 40, not 60, not 30, it is 50. I don't know if it makes sense, but you can try this way. A white arrow painted on a lane means... The correct answer is you may move only in the direction of the arrow. Now this is correct because arrows indicate directions, and that is why the other answers are not correct. Let's look at them one by one. This one says it shows where you must stop. Well, an arrow doesn't tell you where to stop, but it's a solid white line that tells you where you must stop. This one says stop before the arrow and yield to pedestrians. Again, to stop, there must be a solid white line, and you must yield to oncoming traffic or pedestrians before you move. So this is also not correct. This one says move to the far left or far right lane as soon as the way is clear. Well, there's no sign or a law that tells you when you must switch lanes. And moreover, you don't see these painted lines anywhere except closer to intersections. So that's why this answer is also not correct. What lane of traffic should drivers use when they intend to make a right-hand turn? Now, it may look like a very easy question to answer because in Canada, we drive on the right-hand side. So in order to make a right turn, you have to be in the rightmost lane. However, these options can be confusing. So let me first tell you what the correct answer is, and then I'll tell you why the other options are not correct. The correct answer in this case is the lane closest to the right side of the road. As I said, we drive on the right-hand side, so it makes sense to make a right turn from the right side of the road. Now let's see why the other options are not correct. This one says the lane approaching from the left. They're talking about this lane here. Well, this lane is to turn left, so that is why this is not correct. This option says the lane closest to the left side of the road. The lane closest to the left side of the road means you're entering the oncoming traffic, so that's not safe. Hence, this answer is not correct. This option says the lane closest to the center line of the road. Now, the lane closest to the center line of the road is for turning left. That is why this answer is also not correct. If a signal light changes from green to amber as a driver approaches an intersection, what should the driver do? The correct answer is stop. If stop cannot be made safely, proceed with caution. Now let's see why the other options are not correct. This one says maintain current speed and continue through the intersection. The problem with driving at the current speed is that what if the light suddenly turns red on you and you have to press on the brake in order to avoid going through a red light to avoid a fine? What if the car behind you doesn't get enough time to react and they rear end you? That can be dangerous. That's why this option is not good. This option says sound horn to warn pedestrians and other drivers that the vehicle will travel through the intersection. Well, this is also not safe. What if the pedestrians or other drivers don't listen to your horn? Sometimes there are people walking with their headsets on, or they're driving with loud music on, or they're not paying attention. What if they're not able to stop? So that is a sure way to invite trouble. So that's why this option is also not correct. This one says speed up to clear the intersection as quickly as possible. Again, this is also not a very safe way of driving, because when you're driving fast, you're not paying attention to a lot of things, and that can get you in trouble. So that's why this option is also not correct. This option is correct because it's asking you to stop if you can safely stop. The thing is, right, this is what the examiners want you to do when you're doing the road test. When you see the yellow light, you should start pressing on the brake gently to let the instructor or the examiner know that you're making efforts to slow down or stop. And you should try to brake slowly and try to stop. If you can stop, then stop. Otherwise, you should go through the intersection. And when you do go through the intersection, make sure you look all around and make sure it is safe to go through the intersection. If you see anyone suddenly pop up in front of you, it's good to honk the horn. That's only in the case where you're not able to stop. You were trying to stop, but you could not stop. So it's good to honk at them and to warn them that, hey, I'm not able to stop, so let me go through first.